Hello, I'm going to show you how to use some useful Excel functions like the VLOOKUP function and the DATE function. So right here I have some exoplanet data with the planet name, host name, and some other parameters. One of the parameters I'm given is this spectral type code, and that's associated with a spectral type by this table down here. So this is a pretty common practice for machine learning, but also just for general engineering practices to encode a string as an integer. In this case, I'm given the integer, but I want to display the string here in this column. So for that, I can use the VLOOKUP function. So I'll start by typing equals VLOOKUP, open parentheses, and it prompts me with the inputs to the function. The first is the lookup value, so that's this spectral type code right here, comma, the table array. I need to select this whole array, not just one column, comma, and then the column index number. So what we're doing is we're looking for this value in cell E2 in the leftmost column of this lookup array, and then we want to know which column to return the value, the associated value in. So the columns start at 1, so this is column 1, this is column 2, so I want to enter 2 here. The last one is the range lookup, either true for approximate match or false for exact match. I almost always use false. I think if your data is sorted, which ours is, then true should work, but it's usually safer to use false. Okay, so I hit enter, and it returns G, and we can just verify by looking that 4 is indeed type G. So we can copy this function down by double-clicking here, and right away we see one of the common errors when using VLOOKUP is not using static referencing. So we have some NAs down here, and if I click in the formula bar, it highlights my cell references, and we can see that this reference has moved down when it should not have done so. So I need to fix that in my first row. I need to make these references static, so I click in here, and I'll press F4 on my keyboard to put the dollar signs in there, and then copy this down again by double clicking, and that fixes it. Okay, next up we'll look at some date type information. So we're given this discovery date, and this is a date type entry value in Excel. And in the US, this would be month, day, year, but we can also verify that for ourselves by using some useful functions. So if I want to split this into columns, for the year, I can use the year function. So I just type equals year, and then click in here. And then I can do the same thing with the month, equals month, and click that again. And then equals day, and click the same cell. Okay, so we did verify that the month was the first month, January, and then the day, and then the year. Okay, so I can copy these down. And sometimes that's useful to split this up into 3 columns. Or you could imagine you were given these 3 columns and you want to return a single column that looks like this. We can use the date function for that. So I do equals date, and it prompts us with year, month, day. So I click year, comma, month, comma, day. And that basically returns our original value that we had. Okay, just to give you some examples of how useful this type of data is, we can ask a question like, what is the most common spectral type? So I want the mode of the spectral type, and I'll just use this old mode function and select my range here. And you can see that returns 5, which we can see looks correct. There's 2 of type 5. And I'll show you why that integer encoding was useful, right? If we wanted to try that on the strings, we can't do it. It returns NA because it doesn't know how to do that with non-number types. Okay, we can also do math on our dates. So if I'm asked what's the earliest date of discovery, I can simply use the min function that we already know and select my range. And it shows that that was the January 3rd, 2008. What's the latest? I can use max, same range. And then I can also do math between these, like I could say what's the difference between these two. So I can just select this one minus this one, and it's going to give that to you in days, which is useful on its own. But if you really wanted to know, like, oh, how many years is that, I could just divide this by 365. It won't be exactly right, because we have leap years, but close enough if you just want a general idea of the time apart in years.